What's up, y'all? It's your girl Asiahn, and you are about to kick it with my boo, my boy, David Duane.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into On Air with your one and only rock star on the mic, David Duane, in the place to be, the throwback millennial. You're just all jack of all trades and everything. Right now, we've got Grammy Award nominated R&B singer-songwriter Asiahn, who has this brand new project, The Interlude. Now, you guys know her from her Love Train series, Love Train to Love Train 2, Like You, which, listen, you had the people really jumping when we was outside with that one and just the vibe. Like you just a whole vibe. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this interview with us today.
Thank you. Come on, gas me. Gas me.
Listen, we have to because your accomplishments from starting off as a song as an artist and then say, you know what, let me dabble in the songwriting world and then get right back into artistry. It's something that we need to speak about, girl, because you've had a journey and you've been
I've had a journey. I've been doing this for a long time, for sure.
and when you think about the journey that you've been through, what are those thoughts that come to mind?
About time. Other than that, it's like just it's not necessarily all about the destination, it's about the journey. So I learned a lot along the way and to getting here. So that was important as well. And then just learning who I am so I can express that in music and be unapologetic about that. And I feel like when I do that, I give other people permission to do the same. So that was very important that I needed to learn that and grow into who I am now.
And I love that you mentioned that because a lot of people should feel comfortable with the person that they are. So I kind of want to segue to even talking about sexuality and being comfortable in that skin because a lot of people around our age, even younger, and even older, get
Mhm.
frowned upon for that. And it's like before it wasn't as a topic of discussion where it was a good thing. Now we're in a space where we are embracing it. You are hearing in music. You are seeing it in all facets of culture. You're seeing it in the Black culture at its all-time high. So just being in that space and being able to be comfortable because before when you drop music, you were like, look, you had your boys in there, but you're like, let's be honest. And we love it.
You know what? When I was an artist before, when I was younger, I basically just went by the format. It wasn't okay to be a lesbian and be out. It was just, like just do what you got to do to get popping, and you can talk about that shit later on in your life in your VH1 true Hollywood story. We don't need to hear about it,
Yeah.
right? It came to a point where I was starting when I came back from songwriting. I'm like, okay, I want to put out a project, and I had just fully came into myself, and I was unapologetic about who I was. And I'm like, there's no reason why I'm going by Asia Bryant, which is a nickname. So I'm gonna go back to my first actual name, which is Asiahn. And then I'm gonna sing about what my actual life is because why am I saying he or him to appease all these other people that don't really care about who I am? Like there's no purpose in me doing this. And so I felt it was freeing for me to just be like, okay, this is my coming out, a whole project. Here you go. But people knew that I was a lesbian, but I just didn't speak about it that often. I just kind of just worked, put your head down and work. And that's kind of where it was. But now it's just like, nah, I'm not putting my head down. I'm not dimming my magical light for you niggas.
Okay. And I love the fact that you did that because as people, we have to feel comfortable with the skin that we're in, no matter what that means or what the actual layers of that,
Right.
the makings of that. We shouldn't have to box ourselves in. So,
Shouldn't have to, but I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people find it like that. And then there was a lot of no's that I got just because of being a lesbian. There's a lot of tours I didn't get invited on because of the content of my music. And it had nothing to do with my talent and everything to do with my sexuality, which shouldn't affect anyone because it's mine. It's not yours. And you have the choice to do whatever you want with your body. And I have the choice to do whatever I want with mine. Yeah, it's been a battle, but we knocking them walls down because what they gonna do? What you can't deny is his talent, baby. You can't.
Fact. And that's what I loved about discovering your music and stuff like that back with Love Train 2. Just seeing like the artistry in the, not even just the artistry, but the imagery We just talk about the imagery, like in your beauty that you embrace. It don't matter if it's curly hair like you got right now. Don't matter if it's long black hair. It doesn't matter what it is. You really truly embrace yourself as a woman and as a Black woman. Can we just talk about the importance that needs to be at this time? Because we're going through crazy times. We got the pandemic. We've got Black Lives Matter. We got so much. How important is it for a Black woman to be themselves and just be honest, unapologetic? The way that
To be honest, it didn't always feel like it was okay. You know what I mean? When you're darker skinned, there was definitely a stigma in the industry where it was like the light skinned girls were the stars, and then the dark skinned girls were just, I guess, writers and whatever else they decided we were going to be. And it's crazy because even at 15, I got body dysmorphia because I had an exec tell me that I was too big and too dark to do the music that I was doing. Mind you, I was way smaller than I am now. And this exec is still out here doing things in the industry. You know what I mean? So this is still something that's in people's minds, like the older generation of executives. And I'm just happy to be in a space and at a label where they don't care about any of that old stuff anymore, because it's important for us to be seen. Like, it's important for every little brown skinned girl who's a little thicker than most to be seen in a high capacity, at a high stage in her life where everybody's accepting her so she can accept herself. I feel like had I seen that when I was younger, I probably would have been more confident in myself. And I'm just here to let the girls know, listen, be you, baby girl. It's important. There's only one you in this entire world, and we need to experience you. Okay. And Black women are so magical. Like, we really take on a lot. We hold it on our shoulders, and we hold it with grace. We don't take nothing from nobody. You can call that a B or whatever you want to call it, but guess what? We're not taking it. You not. And then when people need us, we're right there. We hold everybody up, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Black women.
Yeah, and especially brown skinned women too. Y'all are gems in my eye. I mean, listen, I love all of us in our shades.
Of course, every shade is beautiful. Like, this is not colorism at all by any means. I'm saying all shades are beautiful.
Yeah.
And so we need to act like they are.
Right. And it's so important because I feel like people they really do get into that stigma. It's not even just the industry. It's in our community. Like, if you go to Africa, it's either you're light skin or you're dark skin. That's it. There's no in between. But here in America, it's like, oh no, you're caramel, you're mocha, you're blah blah blah, you're this color, and it's like all the way down to be like,
right.
It's like, wait,
to these subcategories. How about I'm just Black?
Yeah, our Black is beautiful.
All of it. How about I'm just Black? We just Black, and we exist in our Blackness. Let's go with that.
Yeah. And it's just one of those feelings that I think it takes people a long time to feel that confidence, because there's just so much that goes on. So when you were able, I want to kind of touch a little bit more on this. So when you were able to find your confidence more as a person and as a woman, and then as an artist, what was that moment for you? Did you say, you know what? Fuck all that. Let me just do exactly what I'm here to do. And even from going from the stage name back to your actual name and rock.
I was recovering from a heartbreak. I was really depressed, and my dad had been murdered. So it was like a lot all at one time. And then I realized, like, I had changed into this person that I didn't know. Right. And so, because like when you're in relationships, you keep changing little things about yourself to appease that other person. Then at the end of the day, they end up not even knowing who you are, liking who you are anyway, because you just changed all this stuff. But you like, you gotta recognize these things about yourself and be like, no, that ain't me. So I started to build myself up like building blocks. And I use this analogy a lot, where like, I saw the things that I didn't like, that I changed for somebody else, and I took them out. Right. And I just started building myself up. Until I was so strong in my foundation and my structure that nobody could tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing about who I am, because I already know. I did all my self-accountability. I looked back at all the instances where I felt like someone had wronged me, and I tried to figure out what I did in those moments, the things that I didn't like about myself. Like, I used to be very negative. Turn the switch off on that. We're not doing that. Anytime I would think something negative or say something negative, I would follow it by either 3 positive thoughts or save 3 positive thoughts. So I got into the habit of saying more positive things than negative about myself and then just about everything. And it was in those moments that I really built it up. And then I was just like, okay, I'm done. She signed, so delivered. Asiahn is back. What's good? And it's no stopping from there.
No,
Once you really get in that bag, once you really get into yourself, nobody can stop you or make you feel no type of way about you. You already know everything.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And I try to tell people that, especially on this show, like once you figure out who you are, you have to just continue to embrace that. And just like you said, to break it down. Okay, this is what I don't like. Okay, we remove that. This is what I do like. Add that. Okay, how can I?
Right.
And even if it's something I'm not too fond of, and it might be some type of negative spirit, energy, some negative energy, not even a spirit. But how can I level that up so that it's not taken the wrong way and make that a positive and shaping that and molding it?
And it's finding the positives in all things. It is for some people it's very hard to do, because like when something small happens, it's like World War III, and it's like, you've been through worse things than this, so why are you letting this affect you this way? You know what I mean? You're stronger than this, and reminding yourself that and giving yourself grace. Like if you don't feel like doing anything today, that's fine. You don't have to, but tomorrow get back up and start again. You know, give yourself grace, the same grace and love and good energy and advice you give to all the people you love, your friends. Give that to yourself and embrace it and really take that in. Like I find that when I talk to people about that, they're like, yo, I'm so mean to myself, and I don't even like, we all are. It's a thing. And so we got to practice self-love and giving ourselves grace so we can go out here and be the best versions of ourselves. If we don't start here, we can't expect to get it anywhere else. And if you're expecting to get it anywhere else, you're putting your confidence and your happiness in someone else's hands. And that doesn't work.
Phew. You just said a message in a word. It has to start with us first.
Has to start with us.
And I think that's
you have to decide.
Yeah, like then we can start loving these other individuals. Hell, and those individuals being our family, being our friends, and
right,
to set the tone to how to love us.
Boundaries.
Yeah, those boundaries.
Boundaries are so important. Ooh, I love a good boundary.
And I'm sure in relationships that you've been in before, and even now to this point, you put up really good boundaries. So that you're not.
When I was younger, no. I'm a very giving person. I'm very much, I will give you my last thing if I have it, if I love you, and I will figure out my life. Now I've learned to give it to those who deserve it.
Yeah.
And I manifest discernment all the time just so I can see people's energy and who they are when I meet them. Because a lot of people can put on a facade and be one way, but then really be a whole nother person. So in relationships, any type of relationship, whether it be personal or friends, I'm definitely very an energy person. I go off energies a lot. So when I meet somebody and they got bad energy, I already know, listen, you're not my cup of tea. You could be having a bad day today, but your energy will never lie.
I try to tell the kids that your energy ain't right. You got to go over there, stage left or right, whichever way you want to go. Just
wherever the door is.
Yeah, wherever the door is, but just not on stage.
And then the other thing about it is being unapologetic about that. Being unapologetic about letting people go and not giving a reason as to why, because you don't owe anybody that, you know. Sorry, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you want to keep your peace and keep your energy. And I find a lot of people have a hard time being unapologetic about keeping their peace and their energy cleansed of negative vibes. And I feel like when you're just honest about it, it always works out the best. Like I've had friends that I'm like, yo, you're my last negative friend that I have in my life. I really love you and I don't want to let you go, but baby, I can't. And then they that's something they probably didn't even notice that they were doing, you know, something that they needed to hear. And then they'll go back and reevaluate, like, you know what, you was right. I'm glad you told me that. And that's how most of my relationships have gone. If it's even gotten that far, like where I'm just like, yo, we got to have a powwow.
Powwows are so important to have with everybody being like, look, I'm not really feeling the energy that you're bringing right here. I'm doing great. You need to check it. or
It starts at home. It starts in your surroundings. Like, we can't have these big conversations about changing the world, and we don't even have the conversations with the people who surround us, our tribe, our crew, whoever those people are. You got to have those conversations there. So when you move, you are a moving force, because everybody's energy is great. Everybody's in a great space. Everybody is full. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, oh, the world sucks and everything is horrible here. And yeah, like so what are you going to do? You got to start with you first, then branch out to your group, your crew, your tribe, and then do something bigger, and keep going and keep leveling up and keep pushing those goals until you find yourself being surrounded and in a life that you want, because you choose that. You know what I mean? Every step of the way.
Yeah, happiness is definitely something that we have to choose, and I'm glad that you chose your happiness, to say, you know what, let me walk away from this label and stuff like that. And even in that process, you recorded your demo, you worked with Luda, and you guys have such a great relationship. And I want to just talk about what that was like to actually record a demo, because the kids ain't recording demos no more. They just sending records to the
They just putting records out, Henny.
They just like, oh, let me send this to you. I see you on Clubhouse and on the Instagram. Let me just shoot it right in on your inbox. It's a different world.
It's a different world.
So from learning from that point to now to this point now, how would you say the benefits are, and what that process was like for you?
I will say the benefits of now, like social media and being able to basically be your own label, is just that, because you can put your songs up on TuneCore or any of those distribution sites, and they will distribute your music to every single platform they'll distribute it to. And you don't need a label to do that. Now, back in the day, you needed a label to do that. But it also came with artist development, which I think is very important and is lacking a lot these days. Knowing how to, have an interview, or just perform, or make sure that your mental is stable. A lot of those things tied into artist development, and I don't see that a lot, and which is why a lot of people are really depressed. And there's a lot of artists who are depressed, and I'm just like, oh my, I just want to hug you, little baby. Just come here.
You're like, I wish you could have that guidance and stuff.
I wish you had, right. And not to say that people don't get that way without artist development. I just know that it was a huge tool back in the day to creating the biggest of the biggest stars. And, and we idolized them because they were so great, but because they worked hard at it. You can just make any type of song now, and if it goes up on TikTok, you lit. But where does that leave you in longevity? Where does that leave you? Does it leave you prepared to face what having a high profile song looks like, and everything that comes with it? I don't think it does. So anytime anybody's like, okay, what do you suggest I do as a new artist? I always say, learn your craft. That's number one. And, make sure be yourself, and make sure you check in on your mental, and you check in on those things that matter, because it matters. It matters how you create.
Yeah, it definitely does matter. And I think that artist development, like you said, is missing. I feel like there's a lot that's missing. I think that there's the professionalism that's even missing when it comes to the artistry. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It's like these people don't want to do the proper, photo shoots. They don't want to get with the right mix and mastering team. They just want to get out here. And it's like, you have to crawl before you walk. And if you want to reach a valley, you got some hiking to do to get to that peak.
Right. There's a lot of, I don't want to ever make someone feel like there's one right way to be an artist and to do your thing, because there's no one right way. Some people are just super naturally gifted to where they don't have to go through any of that type of stuff, and they just get it. However, a lot of people do reach out to me and just send me stuff. And then on a random free day, I'll actually sit down and go through my stuff and listen. And then the mix will throw me off. Everything, I'll just be like, oh my God. And it's like, you have to realize, when you're sending somebody something, you're sending it along with all the top list A-list people who mix their records and send them in. So you're going against professionals. So if you want professionals to look at you and take you seriously, put in the time to mix and master your records. Put in the time to make sure your record is actually dope. Is this something that you would give Beyonce today? If you can't say yes, you should go back to the drawing board before sending it to anyone, because you want to put your best foot forward. You want to give the records that you would give to the biggest artists out here, and you wouldn't feel no type of way. But there are some people who don't even think about that. You know what I mean? They may think that their stuff is on the level of that, and it's like, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's no shade. There's growing in that. There's growing in that, because whenever I do hear something, I do give constructive criticism. I'm like, hey, baby, this is an okay song. I think you should maybe revisit your hook. It's not catchy enough, and you need to really mix this record. I will actually give feedback. I'm not one of those people who just would listen and just scoot on to the next one. Even when I started working on the interlude, I put up an email and told everybody just email me beats. And I went through my beats on Instagram Live one by one. And I would give my criticisms on live, and they would be in the room, and they would, some people would go back and fix it and send it back to me like, oh, okay, bet. I've chosen beats from random people, and I don't know what they've done or if they've done anything for anybody to be on my project, because I don't think it's always about your accolades and all the things that you've done for these other artists, because who's to say you'll do that for me? That's y'all's chemistry. That has nothing to do with what we got going on here. So I like to give that open opportunity. But when we're giving the open opportunity and you finally have somebody's ear to listen, you have to make sure your stuff is right.
Wow, that's true. And I'm glad that you said that too. Because a lot of people will not know that you reach out to people to be like, hey, I'm taking the submissions. Tell me what you got. Because it doesn't have to be this person here and this person there. Even if you do have good relationships, it's all about building more relationships and keeping the whole project together.
And it's like, yeah, I could go to every producer that I already know who's already popping, but I want to hear something new. I want to hear something from another perspective. And I posted it on Twitter and on Instagram and gave them my email. They lit me up, and we went through all of them things, every last one of them on my live. I chose one. Sometimes I would get off live like, yo, I'm going to create to this right now. Like it was that type of vibe. Like even Messed Up, which is on the project now, Cardiac sent that to me while I was on live, and I listened to it. I was like, oh, okay, y'all, love y'all, but I gotta go because I need to go record this right now.
Yeah,
right now. And it just happens like that.
And you've done a lot of records with him too.
Yeah, Cardiac's my guy.
How is it Cardiac?
You know what? Cardiac gets things that I don't have to say. And you don't always find that in a producer that will just get you right off the rip. Like a lot of the times I'll be thinking something and he'll do it. Or I'm like, yo, I'm missing this, but I won't give him too much information on what I'm missing. He'll just send it. And I'm like, you always know, Cardiac. You always know. He's like the Timberland to my Aaliyah. You know what I mean? We're very cohesive. We don't miss. We don't miss.
I don't miss.
We don't miss. Love Train and Love Train 2 and some of the records that y'all still ain't heard yet. We don't miss.
Because I know that the interlude is going to be followed up with the second. I can't wait. Like we had even said before, like what you do with these projects is you do them in different, segments. You do one, you do two. You don't just say, look, I'm gonna just give you a full body quite yet. What's the strategy behind that before we even talk about the interlude and just kind of breaking down the different series of these projects?
Growth would be the difference between them. Like Love Train, that's all I had to say in that moment in my time in life. That's where I was, which is why there's a truth and a truth volume 2. Whatever my truth was in that moment isn't invalid because I've grown. It's still there. It's still a thing. It's people still resonate with that record, but I had grown in Love Train 2. That's why my truth was different. That's why it was an interlude. I did it on purpose because I know whatever I'm thinking and feeling in this moment is going to change. If it doesn't change, I'm not growing. So Love Train, that's a moment in time where that's exactly how I felt. Love Train 2, that's a moment in time when that's exactly how I felt and all the things that I was actually going through. And now here we are on the interlude when I got off the train because I need to go live life, because life ain't all about being in a relationship. It's not. We're not just alive to be in a relationship. We got to live. We got to experience. We got to learn who we are and what we like and what we don't like. And we have so much other things to do to empower ourselves and others. And it's like, I need to make a project about that. And that needs to be the interlude. And the interlude, basically is taking a small brief break away from something else before you go into the last phase of it. And so that's what the interlude is. And I felt like I needed to do it in parts, because I just like to give you enough to be satisfied, but not enough to be full, because honey, it's so good. And like when you listen to the songs individually, I feel like even when I put out Gucci Frames and Getaway, they could not see how these records went together until you listen to the whole thing in its entirety. And they're like, this is amazing.
They cohesively go.
They cohesively go, although they have different vibes. Yeah. So it was paramount and very important for me to show that, because I want my listeners to grow with me, grow with my sound. I'm not going to always sound like I did in 2017. Some of those records are from 2015, actually on Love Train. So
you vocally have come a long way. And as an artist,
you know what's crazy? I used to sing more back in the day, but I felt like if I went all the way crazy on Love Train, I would have nowhere to go for Love Train 2 or the next project. So I kind of dialed it back on purpose to
because
experience a growth. You know what I mean? I don't want to ever want to be that person that puts out the popping ass project and can't follow it up. Not saying that I ever would, because if I write one good song, I can write another one. It's just, I wanted to grow. I want people to grow with me. I wanted you to see the experience, which is why we started adding live instrumentation on Love Train 2, but nobody really, I kind of peeked it in there. And then here we are on the interlude. There's a lot more live instrumentation, and niggas was like, I want to grow. I don't want any of my projects to sound stagnant, like I'm still stuck in a place. I want you to grow where I'm growing. And so I feel like if I give my listener a little bit of this here, then they won't be surprised when it comes out on another project. Like, oh, okay, she brought that back. She put some more live, blah, blah, blah. It's just about being strategic and what you're putting out and being authentic about what you're putting out.
Yeah. Whew. Girl, I was trying to jump in there and give my little 2 cents as you were saying it. But the thing is, though, you always want to leave room for more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that some artists don't like to do when they put out these large sums of projects. They're like, let's just get it on out. And I'm going to be like,
I could never do like a 40-song project. It's too much. It's too much. The person, I can't even, like, why would I have, what can I say in 40 songs on the same project that would be cohesive, that wouldn't be repetitive? Like, I don't personally feel the need to do anything like that. And I know everybody's like, oh, yeah, interlude is too short. Well, it's because you're getting another one very soon. So.
And would you do that and tease them with the little appetizer and just and
it keeps you engaged. It keeps you feeling like you're getting something new. I could have put all the songs on one project, but then as soon as you listen to the whole thing, I'm getting DMs right now like, so when's the album coming out? And I'm like, well, the EP just came out, so maybe listen to that one first. Vibe with her for a little bit, and then like a project will come after. But I think the world has turned into a place where you quickly consume something and you want an artist to put something out immediately after, and that just does not work for artists. We put a lot of time and energy into the projects that we release, and we want to give those projects time to live and breathe and walk and grow. And when we're just putting out thing after thing after thing after thing, we're not allowing it to do that. And we're not allowing ourselves to even grow in those moments to where we can even write and be inspired to do something else. So that is a roundabout way of why I chose to do them in series.
But it's a good thing that you did do it like that. That way people can get into your brand and get into your artistry as they discover you more.
Right.
because people discover people in different ways, whether it's a blog, whether it's Instagram, whether it's finding you on an interview, or if it's a Beats One interview or an interview with David Duane or something like that. It's always going to be something different, and I love
always.
And I love the fact that you did that, even with R&B music, right? Let's even talk about that, right? I think that within the genre that we love, that's near and dear to us both, you don't want to put out so much in that space. You want people to digest it. You really want people to be like, look, this is what this is right here. Take this right for a moment. But then what I've noticed in the space of R&B is just like hip hop, just like pop. These fans want more when they truly love your artistry. I gotta ask you, how does that feel to know that your fan base is off the chart? Because I know that
you know what, it's bomb. It's exciting because it makes me feel like I have a space here. I had never really felt like the person who just fit in any group or clique of people. I was always the person that was the friends of all peoples in all the groups. So like, it just makes me feel like, okay, this is my place. This is where I reside. This is my happy space here. That's so important too. Like just finding your space, your pocket. And I feel like people are resonating with it so much because I'm just being honest. I'm just being real about who I am and my everyday life struggles, and people resonate with that.
Yeah, we love an honest queen. You know what I'm saying?
So who got time to lie? Lie for what? What you finna do to me?
Because we's in a crazy time.
We is in a crazy time.
And let me ask you how mentally you've been doing, with, everything that's going on, still having to record, taking that time to really, reflect on your feelings and then bring it out on paper, and then also still being able to shoot videos in this time too.
Well, it was very hard to create in this climate. I was actually really sick for the first half of quarantine, really. And then I had like a surgery, and now I'm healed. So it's like, okay, now I'm like, it's time to go. I was sitting down too long. I was sick as fuck. Sorry. I was sick. I don't know if I curse.
Yeah, we grown. Go ahead. Let it know.
I was sick as fuck, and then I needed to get an emergency surgery, and then I almost died in surgery, which when I was better and okay and healing, I'm like, I can't take this for granted. I need to go hard right now, like in this moment. So we just set up the sessions, and I'm actually in the studio right now. I'm supposed to be working, so I hope they're not mad at me.
Better not, because look, we working right now. It's all a part of that process.
It's all a part of the process.
No, but I couldn't imagine. And you were in Atlanta before you had went back to LA when the whole quarantine.
Yeah, I was filming here, and then I heard that we went on lockdown. We went on lockdown like 2 days before I left. And then I got home, and there was like nothing. All the tissue was gone, the paper towels. People had bought up everything. I'm like, yo, what I'm gonna eat? What I'm gonna do? What y'all eating tissue? Why y'all take all the tissue? What did y'all do in the quarantine?
Because they brought all the food, and they need them tissues to get with their issues.
You know what? Come on. Because that's exactly what they did. My mom was sending me tissue. I'm like, Mom, can you send me some tissue from South Carolina? She did. She sent me some tissue. It was like $100 to send. I was like, tissue. Jesus, it was a mess. But we back. We good now. It's lit. I got a supply of tissue, okay? Because I was not playing.
Right. And being able to record not only in the space of being in LA, but Atlanta as well, because that's always been home for you. I mean, you grew up on the East Coast, you grew up all over.
All over.
Which is a good thing. So that means you were always able to adapt to different, locations like that. How was it being able to create no matter where you are?
Amazing, because that means I don't have to wait to do anything. I'm a very self-sufficient person. So I have my own studio in my house, and Love Train 2 was all recorded in my own house by me. And even a lot of the records, Messed Up was recorded in my house. There's a lot of records that happen right in my own home. And then there's those records where I come out and I get to vibe with other energies, and we get to come together and be super creative. And those are also amazing moments, because you just never know what you're going to come out with. But y'all will hear what we came out with soon.
Soon.
It's a vibe.
I know.
If you happy about Interlude Volume 1, baby.
Girl, when you did the post about it, I was like, wait, what's this here? What's about to happen?
What's that?
It's like jumping for so much joy. And it's crazy because you put out your projects almost practically basically like every other 2 years kind of thing.
That wasn't on purpose.
I know that wasn't on purpose, but coincidentally,
that's kind of how it's happened. Because both times I was signing to a label. First time I was signing to Caroline after I did Love Train 2, and it just took a very long time to sign. And then I upstreamed from Caroline to Motown, which was another deal that we were negotiating for like over a year. And then finally it was like, okay, we're signed and let's get the music. And the music been done, like the Messed Up and songs like that were done like almost 2 years ago. Like these songs are old, so imagine how much in new material and things I have for y'all.
I can only imagine. And let's talk about your patience during the transition of having this music that you knew that you were going to put out for this project, and then going through the
Honey,
deal.
I had to grow in that, okay, because I really didn't have patience. I was like, I'm gonna lose my momentum. What the heck? I'm ready to put my project out. I'm ready to go. And now it's like when the project comes out, I've already heard it for so long. I'm just like, did we do a new one?
How often do you listen back to your projects outside of performing them?
I wouldn't say that often, but every once in a while I'll get in a mood where I'm just like, let me just hear myself, and then I'll just let me run, and I'm like, yes, I really did that. Like I'll listen like it's not me, right? And I'm like, oh, she better sing, she better do that, and I'll literally be talking about myself. I'm so weird.
Feeling but you listen to like You and Curiosity.
When I listened to the harmonies and things I did, I was like, okay, you did something there. Like I literally go back and listen to some things like it ain't me.
Yeah.
And I do it often now, because when I'm recording my own music, I don't listen to outside music. So there's a lot of projects that I haven't gotten a chance to hear yet, because I don't want to be unknowingly influenced. And I feel like a lot of people get that, like, and they end up sounding like someone else because you just heard something and it kind of got into your subconscious mind. And now you're creating something. You're feeling like it's all authentic. And it's like, no, somebody else did that. And now y'all sound similar, but it's cool.
In the influence.
Right. I only like to be influenced by myself. So I'll listen to myself when I'm recording projects, and I do that to know where I've been, so I know where I can go. Like, okay, we did that already. Let's do something else.
Wow. Yeah. And that even in itself shows growth.
Mm.
I love that. Who were
some? It pushes me to grow.
Yeah. Who are some of the R&B artists, male and female, that you love right now?
Oh, let me look at a playlist, because I got a whole playlist. Let me look at my playlist of people I've actually added to my own playlist. My jams, of course, Black, Lucky Day, artist named Sierra Sean, Frank Ocean, Steve Lacy, Masego, Tiffany Goucher, Xavier Omar, Mino, Saba, Sir, Brent Fayaz, Kyle Dion, Summer Walker, her. And then I got some Anita Baker in here, D'Angelo, Tevin Campbell, Marie Legit, Amber Mark, Aaron Ray, freaking Bryson Tiller. Like this, the internet, my Giveon, like DVSN, Fouché, like my assortment of songs is very eclectic and all over the place, but like this is probably the only playlist I listen to outside of my own music when I'm creating, just because it's a vibe.
Mm-hmm. And that's the playlist that you created, right?
Yeah, and I can't wait to get into Jasmine Sullivan, because I know she's singing down. I know she is singing down. Okay,
girls and the guys have been all over social media, like talking about. I haven't checked it out yet.
I've only heard clips, and I've been like trying to stay away, and not like, I bought it and everything, so it's ready for me to listen to when I'm prepared to listen to it, but I can't listen to it yet. I gotta finish these sessions first, and then I'm gonna be all up in it.
Yeah. And what artists do you want to collaborate with, or is there any that we can possibly expect in the future?
Well, I won't tell you who you can expect because you just never know. People I would love to create with. Oh man, that's a list. Some random. Imogen Heap, Billie Eilish, her, Lucky Day. I feel like me and Kyle Dion might do something crazy, or Xavier Omar.
I said I could see that. That'd be fire.
Miguel. I see. See, you saw where I feel like me and Miguel might do something crazy. Beyonce, of course. I mean, because it's like Beyonce. Like, who don't want to work with Beyonce? Right. Jasmine Sullivan. Megan Thee Stallion. Man, there's a list. Tierra Whack, Rhapsody, Andre 3000, Erykah Badu. Who else? I have ideas.
Girl. And I feel like them ideas sounds like something that is already doing. Got something.
Mind your business. Mind your business. Okay? Just mind your business. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
No, but I'm looking forward to it. And can we go back to the interlude and talk about Messed Up? Because that's one of my favorites. I told you I was going to tell you which one were my favorites. But the whole EP is a bop. Like, it's just like we were talking about before we got started. It just depends on your vibe and where you're at. And then Messed Up. Child, you did that.
Thank you. You know, I was just feeling a little frisky or whatever. And like sometimes it be happening. And then like I got into a vibe and I was like, oh, one cheek, two cheek. And that's how the song started. I think I was drinking too. I was on live and I was having wine or something. And I was going through the beats. And then Cardi had popped in my live like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, nigga, send me a pack. What you talking about? What's up? He sent me something.
That you were talking about.
Yeah, we were on live. I'm like, send me a pack, bro. Send me a pack. He sent me a pack, and that was the first thing I played. I was like, okay, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta go record this real quick. The song was already in my head. It was already done.
That's amazing. And how quick is your process with songwriting?
I write a song in anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. Just depends on
So when you a real songwriter, you don't need to take 1,000 days. No,
but you know, it depends on what the process is. Some people like to come back to records and rewrite stuff. And I just find that my first organic thought, melody, and words are always my best. So I go straight off the rip and it's done.
What came to you and spoke to your heart.
Right.
And that always should be what is heard before we rewrite something. If we rewriting something, we going to add a little some in there.
Right.
Well, that's amazing. I really love this project and you doing your thing. Speaking of songwriting, you've had some songwriting success. Can we talk about it? Tell the kids like who you've written for, because that's something that is like incredible.
You know, I've written for a few people. You know, nothing too crazy. Miley Cyrus, Chris Brown, Dr. Dre, Drake, J-Lo, Lil Wayne. You know, Iggy Azalea, Pitbull. Just to name a few.
Right. And that's a dope little list right there. And that's major. That's heavy. Like fucking Jennifer Lopez. Like
a little list.
Miley Cyrus? What?
Cute. She's cute.
That booty record. Y'all did that.
Work.
And a lot of people underestimated that record.
They did.
On a whole nother level. So when
she charted. We had a number one in the dance scene on Billboard with that record. We really had a whole situation. And they're still performing it. They're performing it on dance shows. It's just it's about the booty.
It is. And having that booty.
Booty.
I love that record. So
thank you.
So when you are songwriting, whether it's for another artist or yourself, what's the mind state? Is it do you make it similar? Do you make it different? Like what's that inner energy that gets you know that process going?
I never write anything for anyone else that I will write for myself. So I never confused the two. You know how people are like, oh, I had this song and it was for me, but this other artist wanted it. Whatever I write for myself is for me. And the things I write for other people are strictly for other people. And it depends. For me, I'm just going on my mood, whatever I feel like talking about that day or whatever, wherever the track moves me. For other people, I like to try to get to know the artist really quick. Like, okay, we got to become besties real quick. What's going on in your life? What's happening? Because I want to make something that's going to resonate with that artist, and they perform it better when they do. So that's kind of like my mental state when I start creating with other artists.
And it's a good thing that you do that, because a lot of, especially as a female songwriter, like I realized that is like the common consistency in any true songwriter.
Right.
People just send in like, oh, I wrote this song and do. That's great.
I mean, sometimes, a lot of times we do, like we all have a catalog with a lot of songs, and then something you may have written may resonate with an artist later on, and you didn't write it specifically for that artist. So I feel like as long as you're creating something that's authentic to you and how you feel, and something that you can stand behind, I think, it's lit. It'll be fine.
But that is lit that you've had these songwriting credits.
I mean,
are you working on any placements within this new year, in new decade?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. If they happen, they'll happen. Okay. They're going to happen organically. I feel like I've already gone through the phase of my life where I just like broke my neck trying to get placements, and now I'm just very happy creating my own music. And then when those collabs come by, when I get to work with another artist, it's because I want to and I'm inspired to do so, not necessarily because I'm trying to like secure my livelihood, which is a different thing. Like working so much at something can make it not feel fun or love it anymore, and then it feels like a job, and I don't ever want music to feel like that for me. So when I do work with other artists, it's because I really believe in them and I really want to. Otherwise, I'm not just picking up projects nowadays.
I know that's right. We ain't got time. Okay,
ain't got the time. If it don't make you happy, why are you doing it?
And that's the thing that always gets me about people. Like, if it doesn't serve you happiness, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't be in there and then be mad at yourself because you there. Like, no, I ain't doing that.
We ain't got time.
I mean, they would love for me to write for other people. I'm pretty sure they would. They ask all the time. But it's like when I get in my writer bag, I'll let you guys know.
Right. And you got to be in that space. But it's good that you are acknowledging, look, artistry world for me is really what I love doing the most. I'll write for me and be able to tell my story, because we've got something going here, especially with your fan base that you've spent so much time, you and your team have spent so much time investing them, doing shows from New York to LA to Atlanta to all over the country and stuff like that. I think that it's so important, and I commend you for taking this thing and be like, you know what, the girl's good right here.
The girl's good right here.
And what advice do you have for up and coming songwriters and singers that want to get into this business, create a project, want to pivot, but really want to also ultimately focus on them and be able to tell their narrative without it being controlled?
Again, learn your craft, learn music business, watch documentaries on musicians and their labels and the failures and the things that happen there. Learn from other people's mistakes so you don't make the same ones, and be authentically yourself. If you feel like you want to do something, do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. There's no amount of money in this world that is going to make you happy. So if you're doing music just for money, you won't be happy. You'll just be financially secure. And to be financially secure without happiness is not the goal.
Oh, you just spoke a message in a word, and I hope people really take in what you say with that, because it's so important.
Because it's like, if you're doing something that's authentic, if you're doing something that you believe in and that you can stand behind, money's gonna come anyway. I always say all money ain't good money, so I'm not going to hop in any session just because I heard there's a check there. Like, no, do I believe in this project? Do I believe in this artist? Is this something I want to do? If the answer is no, I'm not going.
Right. That's important. And I've got to ask you, as an artist and as a woman, what exemplifies you when you think about the person that you are, what you've becoming, and what you're becoming?
You know what? I try not to think about that so much because it's like I'm thinking about the future then. I'm thinking about what's next. I want to think about what's present and live in the present moment, and of course set goals of things I want to do. But I know there's a lot of actions that I have to take in the present that will get me to those goals and to into this person I want to be. So like most full moons I'll do like a little full moon ritual, or like I'll just like sit down and write down what my goals are and who I want to be, the things I want to let go of, and then I'll just actively work at those things every day until the goal is accomplished. So I'm never not seeing the goal. The goal is there, but it's not like my main focus to like, okay, I have to do this right now and I got to shoot there. Like, no, baby girl, you got things you got to do in the middle to even get there. Yeah. So let's do those things in the middle. Focus on those things, and that's going to happen anyway.
Wow. Beautifully said. We asked all our guests that question, and you might have said it the best out of everybody.
Okay. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. No, but we love that and love the person that you are and the woman that you are and the artist. Like, oh my goodness, Interlude. People definitely have to check this out. This was such a great conversation with you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, boo.
Anytime. Look, I told you I was gonna reach out.
You did, and we got it done. I told you we was gonna get it done.
And we got it done quick. I was like, come
quickly.
Team.
Listen, yeah, we're not playing no games. We're not playing no games.
See your team. It's so amazing. Like, they're amazing at what they do. How important, even before we tell people where to, download and stream the project and where to follow you on socials, how important is it to have a good team that believes in your artistry, that is attention to detail, that is attentive, and that is very on it?
It's probably the most important thing beside music and visuals, honestly, because you can have music all day, but if you don't have a team to help you push it or stand behind you, fight for you in these big rooms, it's kind of hard to make things go. You know what I mean? A team is a very big asset to an artist, because no artist gets where they need to get on their own. And a lot of it has to do with their team, and having a good team of people you believe in, who represent you well when you're not around, is an amazing thing and very rare to find.
Definitely good. So find a good team, people.
Find a good team. Do your due diligence. Mm-hmm. Date them niggas before you get married.
You do. You and go.
Don't you date before you get married? Don't just be signing with people. You better date.
Speaking of marriage, I'm trying to get married this year. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, married this year. Come on. Yeah, I'm manifest that for you.
Yeah, look, I've been speaking engagement over my life this year, so we gonna see.
We gonna see. I might have a song for that coming out soon. Whatever. Something to be all to dance to at your wedding or whatever.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
So you done took the tissue. Don't tear up now. No, I'm kidding. Now, where can people follow you, like, as far as like your social media is concerned, or where can they download and stream this incredible project? As a matter of fact, they got to download the whole catalog.
You got to download the whole catalog. You got to listen from top to bottom. You got to just start at the beginning and come on up. You can find me at I am Asiahn, IAMASIAHN. That is all my social media. And just type in Asiahn on any of your streaming services, and I will be there. Google works, Amazon, Deezer, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, iTunes. I mean, I'm there.
Everywhere now.
Meet me there. YouTube Music, because there's 2 of them, Come, find me. Let's get going.
All right, you guys, and that is our show for this evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Listen, we had a great chat with Asiahn and Titus. We also talked entertainment news, and we had our Dear Duane segment with our longtime supporter, Kiana. Shout outs to her, Asiahn, and Titus for being a part of tonight's show. And shout outs to you guys for tuning in tonight as well, too. Like I told y'all,
This was going to be a great show, and I'm so excited that you guys were able to tune in, whether you are tuned in live right now in this very moment, or if you are tuned in after the fact. Thank y'all for tuning in. Listen, next week is going to be so dope because we got Blue Kimball and Lecrae with us. Yes, y'all, I said Lecrae and Blue Kimball on next week's show. And listen, as the weeks go on and on and on and on and on, the hottest of the hottest interviews are dropping. So I need y'all to tell a friend that 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday night, right here on Air with David Duane. And not only that, we got our IG Live series popping as well too. We do that every Monday and Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a lot of content flowing and going, y'all. I be stumbling upon my words. But make sure that y'all tune in. I cannot wait for next week. Lecrae and Blue Kimball. Oh my gosh. And then we got some dope stuff with our IG Live series, stuff like that, next week. And maybe even later this week. So you gotta stay tuned. Keep following at David Duane on Instagram. And for all things On Air with David Duane, make sure that you are following at On Air with David across all socials. And stay tuned. You guys have a blessed evening. We'll catch you guys next week. Later.